You are about to witness history in the making.
Hello, good evening, afternoon, morning, and welcome everybody. It's the Pop Culture Gamers podcast. My name is Hayden, and I am here, as always, with Steve. Hiya, Steve. How are you doing?
Yes, a little bit tired for the weekend, but you know, it's not like work, is it? Which is the main thing.
It's staying up, burning a midnight oil, grinding all that destiny. That's what does it.
Oh, and marathon movie nights as well.
Yes, indeed. Enjoying yourself is just far too tiring.
It is, isn't it?
So, what have you been doing?
So, I picked up some dollars this weekend. For the holiday.
Ready for your hauls?
Yes, and it was just difficult when to do it. I could wait a week or two, but the exchange rate's been sort of slowly declining. Okay. So I did it this weekend. I could have waited. I thought, well, it's actually dropped 0.2 at a time, so I thought, well, I'm going to just bite the bullet now. I'm not going to look at the exchange rate at all unless I run out of money, which I hope I won't, but that's it. They're bought and they're put away ready for the off. I can't believe it. I haven't seen them for a while, even though I've got a dollar in a frame above my head here, but it's like Monopoly money, isn't it? Really,
I don't know. I've never really looked at American dollars.
Oh, they're really tiny. They seem really tiny, sort of same size as Monopoly money.
Right.
So, but she likes the phone she had, which is like 2 or 3 generations back, and it's sort of like an S version of a phone. We went and purchased a Samsung 10e, and that is basically the same size as her phone, but it's Samsung 10, Galaxy 10. So.
Oh, fair enough.
So that was all right. I mean, also what was quite good, because she was on EE, and anyone that's on EE knows how bad they get treated by the company. They don't appreciate long-term service. And
no, they don't. I've been with them for years, and I never get any good deals.
No, and she's been with them since Orange.
So have I.
Yeah. So she's gone now, because what I did was when I went in to pick up the travel stuff for yesterday, I popped into my O2 shop, had a chat with them about the best way around it, and I said, how about if I add it onto my account? It's like family and friends.
Yeah.
So you can just add mobiles on. So that was great, because all we've done is I've just picked up a new phone, add it onto my account. Because it's a friend and family, added it, I get 10% discount on her bill. So that reduced it again a bit more. I've kept it exactly the same as she's got it. I don't think she needs any more data, because women don't really cane it like we do.
No.
So, and when she's at home, it's Wi-Fi, so she never really runs out. And so I got it for about 32 quid. I nearly said dollars then, but 32 quid for the phone. Unlimited text, unlimited telephone stuff, and about a gig of data. So we can up it if we need it, but she won't need it.
Mm.
You know, and it just costs 20 quid to do it.
That's not bad.
No, and you know, what's great about it is that, you know, the old back in the day, you used to beg and plead for a puck code off your other phone company.
Yeah.
Well, it's all done in the air now. They just send a request across. That'll come in a couple of days. She's on a temporary number for the minute. That would change over. Job done, and then she'll be an O2 customer then. So, but it's. The ball ache is trying to show them how the new phone works.
Yeah.
And they don't like change, women. No disrespect, but they don't like change. So when you say, well, I want that there, why haven't I got this there? Why do I have to do this? Why am I using fingerprint scanner? And but all I can say to that is that I'm persevering on that side of things.
Well, you have to, don't you? You have to bring them, kicking and screaming into the 21st century.
It is, and she wonders why something won't work, But at the end of the day, she's got her phone's above mine now, theoretically, even though I'm a 9 Plus. So yeah, but that's good, and it works well because I've got her on the split contract, so it's 2 bills put into one.
Yep.
So you pay for your airtime and your phone, and all you got to worry about is paying off the phone bit to do your upgrade. So yeah, all good.
Oh, very good.
I've got a couple of movies on pre-order. Actually, one arrived about 10 minutes ago.
What are they?
And
then?
that was The Towering Inferno.
Yep.
I've got Earthquake coming later in the week, as I'm on this mission for disaster movies at the moment. And we're talking about the airport movies later, because I've done a little marathon of those.
I saw you tweeting about that yesterday. Yeah.
It's quite a good little bit of response about them. So there is a lot of love for 70s disaster movies if you're the right age. That's all I can say.
Yeah, as in your 40s plus.
Yes, exactly. So that was pretty cool. What else? Yeah, Blade Runner 2049 turned up at last from Mondo, which I thought got lost in the post, but it didn't. So that was all right. That's there. And the latest episode of Wrong Rules Out with me rabbiting on about Hooray Harryhausen, that's in the wild as well. So if you're on a hunt for that, you can do. Other than that, that's my week, really.
Okay. So quite a busy week then.
Yeah, well, not too bad. I'm just counting the days now, looking at my website of Virgin saying, there's 21 days to go or whatever. And I've got a call out to do in the middle of this as well, unfortunately.
All right, okay.
Starts Bank Holiday Monday, it starts.
Ah, right. Sorry, I thought you meant in the middle of this podcast.
No. My call-out week starts Bank Holiday Monday, so end of August.
Right, okay.
But anyway, what about yourself? Anything much? Because it looks pretty blank on the sheet here.
Cut the lawn, cut the hedge. That's about it. I've just been working extended hours, running in the last sort of 6 weeks or so of the project that I'm on. Yeah. And then it's launch time. So I've been learning about my next project, which is all about deprivation of liberty safeguards.
Oh, okay.
So, basically, about, when people, about having the right to remove somebody's ability to, freely move themselves around, so Mental Capacity Act and stuff like that linked to. What else have I done? No, that's been it really. And also it's our board's executive meeting, which happens every quarter. So I had loads of reports to write. So as a result, I haven't really done very much at all. And when I have done stuff, it's not been for that long. So, haven't watched many movies or anything. Although I do have a few new ones. Gattaca, Excalibur and the Iron Man trilogy.
By the way, I was browsing Amazon today.
Yeah.
And they've just advertised the Thor box set.
Yes, it's out next month.
Yeah, so I'm sure you'll be getting that one as well.
I'm sure I will be. I'm definitely sure I will be.
That's only a 3. I'm sure there was more than 3, but
no, there's
not.
Only 3. No, there's Thor the Dark World and Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah.
But there is a 4th Thor coming, which is Love and Thunder.
Good, yeah,
which is in Phase 4.
Yeah, that's right, exactly.
Yeah. Where we have a female Thor.
Yes. It should be interesting.
Yeah. So, yeah, not a lot to say otherwise. Just been sort of more sorting out stuff, in Manuaria, etc., etc. But no, not done much at all. Been quite boring. Anyway, let's move on. So let's go into gaming this week.
You are about to witness history in the making.
Okay, so gaming this week, and we're a bit light on news, to be quite honest with you. We've got Gamescom just round the corner, and there's been some rumours about stuff that's going to come on there, but I think we'll just cover that later on. Steve, you've got some, well, surprisingly, Destiny news.
Yes, well, I'll chat more about it, a little bit about it when we get to my gaming bit, because mine would be very short.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've got the cross-save coming next week, so...
And this is actually something I'm excited about as well.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I am, because it means that I can use my best character on my PC.
Yeah, and vice versa.
Yeah.
Yeah, and on the PlayStation.
Yes.
That's if you want to go over to us plebs, on the Xbox or PlayStation, do you know what I mean?
Well, Master Race, what they need to do is they need to do cross-play.
Well, that may come at some point. That has probably been mentioned, I'm sure.
I can't see why they can't do it.
There was a video came out this week, which I hadn't had a chance to watch yet, which is in 3 parts, but it's basically giving us all the information about how the mods work on the armour and stuff like that.
Okay.
So that's out in the wild. If you go to bungie.net, I'm sure you'll find it there. But yeah, that's interesting. I've seen a little bit of it, and it's just real great to see that we're going to get this real sort of RPG game going forward. And they're just doing it the way they want to do it, without Activision poking their nose in by throwing transactions in and upsetting the apple cart, as they are doing with other games at the minute. So yeah.
Yeah.
All good.
Okay. Well, in that case, then, let's have a look at the new releases. So, the new releases for this week are not so hot. We've already got 3. So, it's Yu-Gi-Oh! Legacy of the Duelist Link of Evolution, which is on the Switch from the 20th. We've got Onike, which is on the PS4, Switch and PC on the 22nd. And we've got Snooker 19 on the Switch from the 23rd. We don't.
There.
Yeah, exactly. We don't have any gaming charts because the source that we got them from has now since ended, and haven't really found anywhere else to get them. So if anyone knows of a good gaming chart, let us know. Drop us an email or send us a Twitter message. Otherwise, the only other thing that we know of is the Epic Games launcher, and from the 22nd to the 29th, we've got Fez, which is free to download.
I got that on my Steam, I think, but actually.
Yeah, I think I've got it on most platforms as well, to be honest. I got it on the Xbox.
not that I got Steam running on this Windows 7 machine, but yeah.
I bet it would run Fez, though.
Might do, yeah. It's a great little game, and I think it's one of a kind. It's really great, I bet.
Yeah, it was very clever, the way that it played. Anyway, come on, Steve, let's have your Destiny update.
Oh, okay, so, as we said, cross-save's coming Wednesday, and you'll be able to choose the character of choice. The others, all your other characters will go into archive, so whether that means you want to change and bring that one out and chop and change, I'm not too sure, but I'm sure we'll learn more come Wednesday.
Yeah.
So, what I thought I'd do is I turned the PS4 on last night, and that's why I fell asleep, because every time I went to put a game on, they wanted updates because I hadn't had it on properly, not in the background. So every game needed an update, and then the hard drive was getting full, so I started to delete a few games. And I re-downloaded Destiny 2 because I just wanted to have a little look at it. Also, I purchased Forsaken as well. And that means that I'm up to date now, other than Shadowkeep for the PlayStation side, because obviously, if you're going to take your character, say, from Xbox to PlayStation or backwards and forwards, if you want to play with your mates on a certain part of content, you're going to have to make sure you've got it, basically. One console's not enough, you've got to have it on 2, which is a bit of it's all right. I mean, at the moment, that's all you can do.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Right, and I made this in... I'm...
You're going to take the mic now, aren't you?
No, I'm seriously, I'm not. I'm trying to understand something here, yeah?
Yeah.
Because bearing in mind, I have it on all platforms as well. I don't.
So
have
you can't take. Yes.
I'm not taking a mic. Seriously.
Okay.
But I don't have Forsaken. I've got Destiny 2 and the Year 1 content, but not the Year 2 on PlayStation because I stopped playing it on PlayStation. I've got it on the PC where I'm playing it. Yeah. That was a little bit more because I got it on offer more than anything else. And obviously I've got it on Xbox, which would be, was my platform of choice until I started playing it on the PC and realised how much better it was on there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's just my opinion. I'm not saying that others will agree, but that's just my view. Right. Given the fact that you know that when they upgrade to the new... the
new free version.
No, the new version, the Shadow Keep or whatever it's called.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
You get all of the previous content.
Not including Forsaken, though, as far as I'm aware.
I thought, well, that's different to every other time.
But it's up, I thought, and when I was watching the stream, it was up to just before Forsaken.
Right. Okay. Well, that explains it, because what I was going to ask is, seeing as that they've always given away all of the previous content with the latest version, or the latest, when they do these, extra DLC, or expansions, rather.
Yeah.
Why would you buy it now when in 6 weeks' time you could get it? But if you're saying it's not included this next time, that explains why.
Yeah, they when I originally saw the original broadcast about Shadowkeep, they said the new light version of Destiny, which would be free to play.
Yeah.
For those that have never touched it, that will go up to a certain point. You'll be able to go, for example, to the Dreaming City, but you wouldn't be able to do the Forsaken stuff because you wouldn't have it. And to be honest, I picked it up on CD keys for 22 quid.
Fair enough, yeah.
And that included also the Osiris stuff, which I didn't have either. I think I already had that. But if you haven't got any of that, it includes Osiris and all that stuff. So it's quite a big chunk.
Yes.
So now all I need to have now is Shadowkeep on the PlayStation, which I probably will get at some point. And then I will be able to chop and change my character and hop over to each side, whether I'm going to play with other people like Mark or whoever,
Mm-hmm.
And you can have one vault, one set of characters. That's the other reason. Was also is I was chatting to Mark today, and he's on about getting my Hunter and Titan, because I've got nothing on it at the moment. It's blank. So when you go onto the start screen, you come up with my main character there, which is 750. Then you've got the Titan and the Hunter, which is at 100.
Yeah.
So, and do you remember we had those orbs? You have a free orb to upgrade.
Yeah.
So I can't think which either. It doesn't matter. I vice versa. But I got one of the other characters out. I used the orb to get the character to 320. Then I started the game, and it started me. When the tower's all broken up, and you got to do that fight with Zavala and all that.
Mm-hmm.
So I just started that anyway. Now, not realising what you can do is that when you use that orb, it will ask you, do you want to skip all the story content because you've already done it on your first character?
Yeah. And
you say, yes.
But you do know you don't get the trophies, don't you?
Whatever. There's only a couple of... I've got a load of triumphs pop up, to be honest with you. A huge load of triumphs, which I had to went in there and clear and in there. But I think getting the... Because I didn't take my character, say, to level 50.
Yeah.
So they may well pop in, I don't know. I'm not really that fussed, to be honest. It's just when I want to change characters, if I want to, I should be able to grind them up. So obviously I've got both. I've got me Hunter and me Titan up at 320. They're bare bones. Was it white armour they start with, I think? I can't think white or green. And the next thing I need to do is find the mission to get it to 690, and then I can start using those characters. And then the stuff will drop at 690. All my gear, weapons, anyway, that I can use. I've got a stack of them in the vault, because my vault's always full.
Yeah.
So that'll be okay. I'll just need to leave a little bit of space when I've got some of the weapons out. I'll be able to put some armour in there for both characters and go from there, really. So, yeah, all looking good for that. And even though I'm going to be using my Warlock, I would like to just get these characters up, because there's some things I'd like to do in the game, but it asks you to complete other characters, and I've never done it. So I will chop and change with that. But it'd be great that I can go and hop onto the PlayStation though, because when other people are playing there, I can just come along with my character. Got me vault there. Everything is just platform difference, isn't it?
Yeah.
So yeah, all good.
I mean, obviously there's a difference in the controllers as well.
That's why I went on today to have a little play, but it just like riding a bike. It was.
Yeah.
I didn't look at the controller. I just did it fluently. So.
Yeah, because all of the buttons are all in pretty much the same position.
They're identically in the same place, except one's called an A and one's called an X. But you don't think about that, do you? You just hit the button as if that button will do that beat of that job to do whatever, whether you're deleting something or shooting or firing, whatever. So I loved it. And I was looking at the VR now that's been included into that certain title that got bummed off at the beginning, and I can't think what it's called now because I'm being really stupid. So on the PlayStation 4 we've got the Beyond version, haven't we?
Yeah.
Of No Man's Sky, and I don't know why is that expensive at $14.99, 15 quid. Surely you can pick it up at CX for $7 maybe.
No Man's Sky.
Yeah.
Well, it depends. I mean, CEX will have whacked the price up because of the latest update.
Possibly. There's sometimes I don't know if they actually know. Let me have a look. Actually, let me have a butcher's and see if I can see it. Let's do a search. But
because they are very sensitive to change in demand on that stuff.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, No Man's Sky PS4. So they sell it for 18. In credits, they buy it for 8. And if you want to buy, let's have a look. Oh, I've put it into a basket in my mind. They're asking 18 quid for it, more than actually the digital version on the PlayStation 4.
Yeah.
There you go, eh?
But
crooks.
But if you're only going to play it for a short time, you can then take that back, and then it'd be less than the PlayStation 4 version.
Yeah, I think, to be honest, I'd rather have a digital version. In that case, it's always there. As the greatest scheme of things is with digital content at the minute, it'd still be sitting there. Yeah,
I have to admit, it's the new No Man's Sky update has been wanting me to get my PSVR out again. So
that's the reason I'd love to try it.
I've been thinking about moving it into my other room rather than in the living room, because I don't play it in the living room, you see. Whereas I might do if I'm sat on my own little sofa in my gaming room.
Well, yeah. Oh, isn't the PlayStation 4 in your gaming room anyway? I'm sure it is, isn't it? Oh.
No, the Pro is in my gaming room. But
right.
But my other PlayStation 4 is in the living room.
Oh, okay.
So I've got a standard and a Pro.
Yeah.
So just going back, you bought the Destiny 2 Forsaken DLC on the PS4.
Yeah, I didn't buy it on the PS4. I bought it on CD keys.
Yeah.
No, I didn't. No, sorry. No, actually, I did. I bought it on the PlayStation. That was it, yeah.
Right, and does that include all of the Year 2 content?
Yeah.
All right.
Because it had annual pass in the list.
And it was 23 quid?
So I'm sure, yeah, about 23 quid, yeah. No, I did it on CD keys. No, tell a lie. Because I've been jumping around all day looking at stuff.
You'll have to send us a link then.
If I go into my emails, there we go. And I'll tell you. There we go, CD keys confirmation. $22.99. That's the Destiny 2 Forsaken Legendary Collection. So that's everything. So really, that's not bad, is it?
No, especially when the Forsaken DLC actually is the same cost.
Yeah. Stupid, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
So, yeah, no, that's all right. But so you might even actually pop on then at some point.
Yeah, might well do.
Come over to the Xbox and show us your character.
You mean PlayStation?
No, even Xbox, even, or whatever. You can come on either, can't you?
Yeah. You never know. Actually, I think that my most advanced player at the moment is actually my PC one.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's funny because when I was, obviously at the moment, I was looking at Forsaken and it's giving me a load of quests for stuff. But I say that would be irrelevant anyway because I've already done those quests. I've got some of the latest exotics. So I'll be using those with my character, bringing that all across anyway. So that'd be fine. Be good. Anyway, what about yourself? You got anything to talk about?
Yeah, I've been playing a few games. So I've had in my collection for ages Anno 2205.
Not heard of that one.
Well, it's a futuristic version of Anno, basically. It's city building sort of style game.
Okay.
But with a slightly different sort of focus. It's part of the long running Anno series. There's Anno 2017. There's a new Anno 1800. As a this sort of strategy game, it feels quite rigid when you first start off because you've got to hit certain objectives. But the game looks absolutely beautiful, and there's lots of life in this game now because there's expansion packs for going into orbit and into space, and having a base on the moon and stuff like that. So plenty to go at in there. I think it's an older game. I don't really want to talk about that too much. Unmechanical Extended Edition. Again, this is an older game. It's an indie platform game. It's 2.5D. When I say it's a platform game, it has platform tendencies, but you actually control a mechanized sort of little robot that flies. So you hover around the place, and you have to basically solve puzzles to get your way through the world. It's been around for absolutely ages on the PS4 and Xbox One. I think it might have even been, Games with Gold, or not Games with Gold, PlayStation Plus games, 1 month, if I remember rightly. It's on most formats, but it's quite an enjoyable little game, although not very long lasting. Probably about 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah.
But there's lots of puzzles there to solve. Basically, it involves you hovering around, lifting up rocks or other things, taking them to another location to open, to put on a pressure plate or whatever. There is one really, really annoying level where you have to use your tractor beam to sort of guide this orb through this maze of electrified spikes, and if it touches one of them, it sends it right back to the beginning, and the orb will fall naturally, and then you use your tractor beam to lift it up, but if you do it too much, then it shoots up into the air, and then it hits the spikes on the ceiling, and you have to negotiate through. It's a bit kind of like a perverse backward version of Flappy Bird. It turns into at that point, and God, was it annoying. But I hate games like that, when it gets like that. But it was quite, it was other than that, it's quite an enjoyable game. Like I said, not too taxing. All of the puzzles are pretty easy to figure out. There's some daft hidden achievements, like spinning an object around yourself 4 times in a row.
Yeah.
And stuff like that, But, it's not too bad. And graphically, it looks really nice. Each time you go into a different environment, because it's all in underground caves, it looks slightly different. Everywhere's got their own sort of light tone. So when you go underwater, there's, a nice look to that.
Right.
Yeah. So definitely worth a look if you've got it in your download history, because I think people will have it in one form or another somewhere. But the big one for me this week is Age of Wonders Beyond.
Is this to do with like the strategy games of old, is it again?
Yes, it's very much Civ sort of orientated. So this was one of the new releases. Basically, this is just the initial impressions because I've only been playing it for about an hour or two. But you get quite quickly into these sort of games.
Yeah.
So it's your normal sort of 4X, explore, expand, exploit, and exterminate mechanic in the game. And it looks incredibly like Civ. In a matter of fact, if you didn't know Civ, you would be, but you kind of like knew what it was supposed to look like. You would be easily mistaking this game for Civ, at least initially. The screen layout's very sort of similar. You've got your map with everything that's going on. It plays a lot like Civ. You've got your tech trees and all of that sort of stuff in the game. What else? Obviously, you build things as you would, you need to go out and explore. You send your units. You have like hero characters, some of which are already on the planet that you've landed on. Some of which, are with, land with you, and you go and explore. And you find more things. There's this planet you've landed on. There's a load of aliens. This is going to be your new home. You've spent, however many years travelling to here. You want to make it your new home, but these aliens who already lived there, which when you were sent off, nobody knew that there was any aliens lived there, have a different opinion about your immigration status, shall we say? What is different about this game, which makes it stand apart, is at some points the game turns into more like an XCOM sort of affair. Right. So if you go onto a square where there is another alien, it'll take you into a mini map, and then all of the mechanics are basically very much like XCOM. So you move around the map, and if your character is halfway behind, or has half cover, like a waist high wall or something like that, it will half the damage that is coming into them. And all of those sort of mechanics. So you think about XCOM and XCOM 2, how that works. Yeah, very much like that. So what it does is it takes the best out of both bits of out of both games, and combines them in a way which makes it enjoyable and a little bit different. Yeah, cool. I think the tutorial sends a lot of information your way. You get information overload really quite quickly. What I did find is that I think there might have been a bit of a disparity between whoever wrote the tutorials and whoever was actually programming the game, because sometimes it's, say, just go and do this, and when you look to go and do it where it said, it doesn't seem to be there. And you have to look around a little bit more. So, a little bit of disparity in terms of it there. But mostly, it's okay. The narrative of the game, I can't really say that I followed it that well, just because I think where they've gone wrong is it's a mixture of spoken and reading. If it had been reading, I would have been alright, and if it had been spoken, I would have been alright. But when it's both, it kind of breaks it up. So you don't feel like you want to read it because you got some spoken words instead, and you just skip it, do you? Yeah, exactly. So because, you have like a sort of animation with some speaking, then you'll get some dialogue boxes that'll pop up with, somebody talking over them, which is basically telling you the content of those dialogue boxes. And then then suddenly in the middle of all of these dialogue boxes, you'll get 2 or 3 where it's just the text. And you kind of like think, well, if it's not important enough to have somebody narrate it, it's not important enough to read it. But it probably is, actually. But because I've skipped them, I hadn't really, and it just felt like a bit of an uneven part of the game did that, where really, for the sake of a little bit more voice recording, they could have made it a lot better. That would be one of the few quibbles that I have about this. So what I would say is, overall, it's a good combination of 4X strategy games with, added something new, but it, there's a little bit of an area for improvement in terms of the way that they impart the story across the game. Yeah. Hopefully it'll get better in the long run. But like I said, I wasn't that invested in the story. Oh, well, that's a shame, but I suppose down how the developers do it depends on how you play the game at the end of the day. Yeah, exactly. Cool. Anyway, anything else? No, not really. Nice and quiet. Okay. Obviously, all these quiet times, we can way too quiet at the moment for gaming. Next couple of weeks, it'll all lift off. That'll be what it'll be.
You sure?
I hope so. I definitely hope so. Anyway, let's go on to movies, TV, and streaming.
In quest of a better life,
Alright, so movies, TV and streaming, and we have a bit of news, a bit of unfortunate news actually, but Peter Fonda, the star and co-writer and producer of the 1969 classic, or cult classic, Easy Rider, has died at the age of 79. I don't know whether or not you'd seen this, Steve.
Oh, yeah, because I posted it on numerous places.
Right, I must have missed those. So, anyway, Peter Fonda, he's the son of Henry Fonda,
That's right,
brother
yeah.
to Jane Fonda, and father of Bridget Fonda.
Yeah.
So, basically, the Fondas are as near to Hollywood royalty as I think that you're likely to get nowadays.
One did the workout, for example. For us to remember Jane Fonda doing her workout videos, that was quite amusing, must have been.
I was thinking more Barbarella.
Oh, yeah, but I went about in the 80s when she started doing the workout videos started coming out and she was doing all this sort of stuff.
Yeah, that was after she had her bottom ribs removed, wasn't it? So she could look thinner.
Yeah, so, but yeah, no, it's a real shame. I mean, it was a classic. It's a classic movie. I think it defined the word road trip from that film, to be honest. I think.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I do, but I think that it's basically in terms of the movie, it was the first counterculture movie to be a huge hit, and so therefore, as a pop culture sort of thing, you know, it's an iconic movie.
Oh, if you see those two bikes on that, whether it would say on Route 66 or wherever it may well have been, you know what movie that is straight away, and you see those. I'm not a bike enthusiast that well, but were they Harleys? I'm sure, maybe.
I think that there were Harleys, but don't quote me on it. But there were certainly the more sit-back kind of bikes.
That's it, the ones where you'd fall asleep because you got your feet up.
Yeah. more like sitting on an armchair rather than being on a motorbike.
Yeah, and they had those classic helmets on as well.
Yeah, but I mean, Easy Rider, that had some, good names with it. I mean, it was directed by Dennis Hopper. It had Jack Nicholson in it as well.
Yeah.
And Fonda earned an Academy Award for Best Original Screenplay for that.
Mm. Yeah, it's unfortunately we're getting a few of these people popping the clogs now.
Yeah.
And,
but I always think it's worth, big pop culture icons like that, it's always worth acknowledging, their contribution to everything that we know and love today. Oh,
yeah, because everything from what they've done, people have influenced from that to bring you all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I have no doubt that Ghost Rider would have probably had some influence from Easy Rider.
Possibly, and there was probably a lot of other movies that I wouldn't want to speak about that would have probably also had the same title in it.
Yeah, probably. Anyway, do you want to do the cinema releases?
Okay, so 21st of August we have got Angel Has Fallen. The 23rd we have Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, Crawl, Pain and Glory, Nectronic, and Never Grow Old. So a couple there that one that's probably going to be able to park your brain in the bucket, which would be Angel Has Fallen. Yeah.
Which is all of the I forgot what his name is.
Yeah, so it's Gerard Butler continuation.
Gerard Butler ones, yeah.
From Olympus Has Fallen and stuff like that he did.
Yeah.
And I actually saw the trailer last night for the Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. And that looked very spooky. Right up my street.
I was about to say right up your street.
Yeah, it is. Anyway, what about DVD? What we got there?
Not much. Not much. There is Hellboy 2019, which I haven't heard good things about.
Mm-hmm.
And In Bruges Blu-ray Limited Edition is the ones I've picked out from there. I don't know if there's anything that fancies your tickle there.
Well, my tickle can't see a lot, to be honest. Actually, there's one probably that's Cruising, which stars Al Pacino.
Yeah.
So, and that's I think has that been released on Arrow? I'm not even quite sure, actually. Other than that, just seeing that there. No, very quiet, probably, I can see. Yeah, not a lot there.
No. Very poor indeed. But we seem to be just at that point where it's either all or nothing, doesn't it? It's either a big release or...
Yeah. Well, I think with the way cinema releases go, we've had the summer films for the kids.
Yeah.
We'll go into what we would call fall or autumn. Mm-hmm. And then from about then, because what's going to pain me is that before I go away, It's Part 2 comes out, and I don't think I'm going to get to see it before I go, unfortunately. But
might be able to watch it when you're there.
Well, I've actually already been on the Virgin website, for the movies, for the in-flight movies, and I've not seen a great deal of good fun there. There's one sort of horror sort of style movie which I might give it a go, but I don't think, unless they get it wrong or they've changed the website for what's going to be shown in September, there ain't a lot of good stuff there for me to watch. But we'll see. I mean, I might have got it wrong.
Yeah,
because they do change it monthly, and I did double check with September for Virgin flights and what they're going to be showing on the in-house entertainment.
Right.
I think it included Aladdin, which I'm not really too keen on, to be honest.
No, I can imagine that. I presume as well that's the live action as opposed to the cartoon.
Yes, that's Mr. Blue.
Yeah.
That's
a shame. I'd rather have seen the cartoon personally.
Oh, I've seen the cartoon one for years, but no, you normally get a couple of movies that are sometimes in the cinema as well when you're on a flight.
Yeah.
So I might be wrong. You never know what. I mean, it'd be nice if the Quentin Tarantino movie was on the flight. That'd be grand, really, for me. But I don't know. We'll see. Wait and see on that.
Well, I'm sure that they'll probably change it for the next month.
We'll have to phone him up and complain.
Okay, so cinema charts. Do you want to do those?
Okay, so from 6 up to 5, we've got Spider-Man Far Home, which at the moment is really cashing in on itself, and the money it's making is huge, so that's doing really well. We got from 1 week release, I do apologise. So in at 4, we got Blinded by the Light, and then 3, we got Toy Story 4. Number 2 is Fast and Furious Hobbs and Shaw, which I'd love to go and see, and obviously The Lion King is still on top at the moment.
I have to admit, I really do fancy Hobbs and Shaw as well. I'm a big The Rock fan.
Yes.
And a big Jason the Statham fan, and that is definitely on my watch list. In a matter of fact, I'm hoping I might get to see it this week.
Yeah. Have you seen the trailer for the latest Jumanji movie?
No. Oh, yes, I have. Yeah.
That looks a laugh. That really. I know it's difficult to do a sequel with a film like that, but it looks interesting. Must admit, it looked really good.
Yeah, well, it's going to be more of the same thing, but I don't think that matters for that movie.
No, because they've actually changed it, because you can have, there's some adults in there, I think, that are going to get these characters. So, but yeah, I look forward to that, and I think that's coming at Christmas time. Okay, what, Blu-ray DVD charts?
Yeah, so at number 5, staying in its same position, we've got Us. At number 4, up from 7, we've got Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. At number 3, down from 1, is Dumbo. At number 2, up from 3, is Alita Battle Angel. And at number 1, back up from number 2, is Captain Marvel.
No change there, really.
No. Mind you, it's not quite the same as 3 weeks ago, where we had all Marvel movies.
Yeah. That might actually pop back in soon as the latest Avengers one is out.
Yeah.
We may see a slight difference again, probably, with it.
Yeah, most probably. Anyway, what have we been watching, Steve? You've been doing your airport marathon.
Is it? I mean, I'm flying in about 21 days' time. Is this wise to watch 4 disaster movies on there about airplanes?
You see, what I always remember is Airplane, the movie.
Well, I will bring this in. Yeah.
Showing airport, weren't they?
Well, the thing is, if you watch all 4 of these, that will then bring that perspective together, because obviously we all love Airplane. That covers all 4 of these movies to a certain degree.
Mm-hmm.
So the major scenes that you've seen are in each, and it's ironic that, just briefly, when you're seeing those scenes being acted out as a straight instead of a comedy version, I'm still chuckling to myself there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And
so the first one was Airport. This was based on Arthur Haley's novel, and this came out in 1970, believe it or not. So the idea of these...
That was before I was born.
I know. So the idea of these movies is you'd have a great, strong cast. And in the case of the early 70s, you had these big 60s icons all together in this film. So, for example, you had Burt Lancaster, Dean Martin, and George Kennedy, for example. And this one, if you're too old but you know Airplane, this one is about a guy putting a bomb on the plane. So you can get the gist from seeing Airplane how this is going to go. Mm-hmm. But the way these aren't too long as movies go, you get this character building from the start with all the different characters that are going to be on the plane. They've all got their troubles and trifes. You know, Dean Martin's there, married, and he's sleeping around with one of the stewardesses, and she's got pregnant, and so on and so forth. But it's just great to see. As much as you got the bomber on the plane, you got an airport closed by snow and a plane stuck on the runway where they need to land. So that's all thrown into the mix as well. It's great. One thing I did like about this movie, I've only ever seen probably once anywhere else I can remember, but in this movie they go to split screen occasionally. So if you don't know what I mean by that, for example, if someone's having a conversation on the phone, instead of the whole screen then going to the second character, they cut the screen in half and you watch both characters at the same time. Mm. When one could be, say, in Los Angeles on the phone in the bedroom and the other guy's in the airport. And it works really well. Don't see it much these days. I mean, the last time I remember would have been probably the series 24.
The movie, There's Something About Mary, I'm sure that did that.
Not that I can remember, but I'll take your word for it.
Yeah. But
you remember it in 24, don't you? The way they did it.
Oh, yeah, I do, because that was one of the big things about 24, wasn't it? That they did this.
It's this split screen idea. And, it works very well. Even when there was a conversation, for example, with George Kennedy talking to his two kids, and then his wife cuts in, the two little boxes coming from top to bottom with his kids talking. His wife then pulled into the screen as well as another screen on it as well. But overall, great movie. I really enjoyed seeing that again. Following from that, you have Airport 75. And with this one, you had George Kennedy back in again. I'm going to say George Kennedy's in all four movies playing the same character. So you have a nice bit of continuity there. Where this time you had the likes of Charlton Heston in this, who's probably the biggest actor in this movie. So where we have a small biplane goes and crashes into the cockpit of the jumbo, and the pilot and his co-pilot, one gets sucked out, the other's knocked out, and he's near on unconscious, near on dead, and the stewardess has to land the plane. Mm. So this is the other part of Airplane, isn't it?
Yeah.
But we didn't have the rubber doll in it this time.
The automatic pilot that needed reinflated.
Yeah. Again, the tension's really good with this. I quite liked 75. That's class. It really was good. And you had Charlton Heston having to talk her down. Mm. And at one point, they had to get a pulley idea because she couldn't actually fly the plane properly. They had a huge army helicopter in front of the jumbo, and they'd have a hook line to the where the hole is in the side of the plane. Yeah. And Charlton Heston would go in there that way to grab the plane and that as well. So it had all this sort of tense sort of drama and that. Really good again. From there we had Airport 77. This one had the likes of Christopher Lee in it and James Stewart, who's probably at the time, one of the oldest actors, probably still alive then. And this one is about a private plane which is run by a big conglomerate, and the guy wants to bring all the art across to his to where he is with a load of guests. Mm-hmm. And there's some guys that want to take over the plane to steal the art. And in doing this, by actually gassing the passengers, the plane ends up with, I won't say how, but it ends up under the sea. So you have Jack Lemmon in this as well, who was the main pilot. Another great story there. I quite like this one, and I was a bit gutted. Spoilers from an old movie. Christopher Lee didn't make him. Yeah, real shame. Mm. After this, the last one, which was probably a bit of a controversy on what it was, but we had the Concorde, and this is Airport 1979. Again, same idea we have a big star. We have a big, huge list of stars in this, and I'm trying to remember. Say George Kennedy again was in this again. We had Robert Wagner playing the main role.
Robert Wagner.
Yeah, he was class. You had Sylvia Crystal in it as well. Do you remember her playing Emmanuel back in the day?
Kind
of, yeah. And what this one was about was where one of the people on the plane had uncovered, because she was in love with Robert Wagner, uncovered that he's been dealing with selling arms to different places around the world.
Right.
So he was trying to get her bumped off, and was using his company have got these missiles that they were using for tracking and taking planes out of the sky. So they were using this to try and take the Concorde out.
Okay.
And on the return flight, because it didn't do very well, they put an idea of getting the plane to unlock the cargo hold, which started to tear the plane apart. But it's nice to see the Concorde. I haven't seen that plane in an absolute age. It's a shame that it was taken out of commission, especially after the big plane crash that happened.
Yeah.
Of course, some years ago now.
That's a beautiful plane.
It is, and this was hitting Mark II, twice the speed of sound. Incredible.
I've been on Concorde twice.
Have you?
Yeah.
Oh, wicked! Oh, that must have been nice.
It wasn't to be nicer if it had taken off.
Oh, you went on a visit, did you? Oh, okay.
Yeah, at the Oxford Air Museum.
Oh, okay. Yeah, cool.
Yeah, but it was interesting looking around the plane. Nonetheless.
I tell you what, when I was looking at, you know what it is with some of these films, you look at members of the cast, and sometimes you think of them from somewhere else. For example, I can't think which one. There was two characters I recognised, and they both played later in Damien Omen 2, for example, which I just recognised them from that straight away. But in this movie, I'd have to do a screenshot and send it over to you. But there was you had the two pilots, and you had the guy that's on talking to talking to elsewhere, keeping an eye on the traffic and everything else.
Yeah.
And it was Eric Estrada, if that's how you pronounce his name.
Mm-hmm.
Who was in Chips, of course.
Yes, he was. Puncharello, wasn't he?
I think he was, yeah, because he was the Mexican, wasn't he, I think?
Eric Estrada.
Eric Estrada, yeah. So he was in it as well. So yeah.
I never realised he was in it, but not long after that, he was in Chips, wasn't he? About 5 years later.
Yeah. Susan Blakely was in this one as well. Sylvia Crystal, as I said. Who else would I say? David Warner was in it.
Yeah.
As well. Sybil Danning, if you remember her. Very busty lady.
Remember her.
If you Google her, you know who I'm on about. And
hang on. Was she on Escape from New York?
Don't think she was. Was she? Not that I remember her in that.
Okay.
She was in Battle Beyond the Stars. Do you remember that one?
I do remember it, but I don't remember her.
That was 1980. But yeah, if you look at her, you'll recognise her.
Right.
And I think if I remember, I'm trying to remember which one it was in now. But was it 75? Let's have a look. Do you remember in Airplane? You had they had a young girl with a heart transplant. Do you remember?
Yeah.
And the heart was beating on the table. Mm-hmm. Well, this was in Airport 75. So you had a young Linda Blair, who, if you don't know, played the girl possessed in The Exorcist.
Yeah. And
she was the young girl waiting for the heart transplant. And you had this nun come round to have a chat with her and start singing with the guitar. I shouldn't laugh in this film, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, you just expected it to start swinging the guitar and knocking out her insulin line.
Yeah, she didn't have an intravenous drip on her. She was just laying down in this film. But, you know, it's just... I need to probably watch it now. After watching these, I think I need to watch Airplane. But, yeah, no, I really enjoyed that. That was a fun day. And from there, as I say, I've got Towering Inferno on Blu-ray now, which came today, which has got a shed load of extras and deleted scenes. So I'm really looking forward to that one. Mm. And then Charlton Heston in Earthquake. That will be hopefully later in the week when that one turns up.
Nice.
So, yeah, enjoying this little trip back in the 70s. So, anyway, what about yourself? What have you been up to?
I watched Iron Man in 4K.
Oh, okay. And how was that?
So, Well, I got the triple set, of the movies.
Yeah.
But it's quite nice actually going back to the original thing that set off the whole of the MCU steam wagon, basically.
But it was sort of when this came out, we weren't aware of what was to come.
No, we weren't. They were, because Phase 1 had been mapped out and they knew about other phases.
But we weren't privy to this sort of secret way of how they were doing, because it wasn't needed to be known, because that was just one movie, wasn't it? And then we saw a couple, and it blossomed from there, didn't it?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, when it's just, you can't imagine the MCU now without Robert Downey Jr., can you? I mean, I know that we're going to have to.
Yeah.
But, when you think about some of the people who were basically in line to play Tony Stark, like Tom Cruise, it wouldn't have been the same.
I don't think it would have worked. I mean, I know it's difficult to say that now, because it's amazing the amount of times we've seen a movie or an actor that's gone on to do an iconic role especially in the pop culture industry, of what people remember people for. And sometimes there was other people that nearly got the part that you think, wow, really?
Yeah.
So, whether it would have been like Harrison Ford, it could have been Tom Selleck, couldn't it, at one point, and it just...
Yeah, well, Hugh Jackman was also evidently considered for it. But I'll tell you one thing, I think I would have much rather have had Tom Cruise than one person who was considered, because it was Nicolas Cage.
Well, no disrespect to Nicolas Cage, he's done a good few movies, but it's like he nearly got the role for Superman, didn't he?
I know, and that's a completely inappropriate one.
But when you see the actual, there is a shot of him in the suit, isn't there?
Yeah.
If you Google it, and you can see it, and Jesus Christ,
I mean, Sam Rockwell, who later played Hammer in the Iron Man 2, he could have, just in Hammer, he could have been, I think out of all of them that they looked at, I think he was probably the next nearest one, because the thing about Sam Rockwell is he's a really good character actor.
Right.
So I think he could have possibly have done it, but yeah, it was an interesting thought about him, actually being it, because I think he'd probably have been the closest. But to me, from all of the years when I used to know Iron Man as a kid or a teenager, Robert Downey Jr. just when he got that goatee on, it was him. It's exactly the personification of who I pictured him to be.
Yeah.
I mean, it's amazing how young he looks. I know it's 11 years ago.
Well, I watched Iron Man just after I saw Endgame.
Yeah.
And I thought, yeah, you know what? It still works, and even though it's as old as it is now, it's not that old, but people would say old, but it still works on every level.
Yeah, it does. It does. They could release it now as a new film if people hadn't seen it, and, you wouldn't have thought it was an 11-year-old movie.
No, not at all.
I mean, I know that they knew what was going on in Phase 1, but I think that the way that they've designed the movies to all integrate started off with this as well.
Yeah.
Or at least have retrospectively done it so that all of the other movies fit in with this in some way or another. I think Tony Stark, his character is really well handled in the movie as well. He starts off as a brash, arrogant multi-billionaire who hasn't a care in the world and believes his own dogma about, what his company's doing, to, when he gets captured and, has that sort of about face or that epiphany in terms of what's been going on. And then he says, right, I'm going to stop what's happening now. And, his character, it's really for him, it's a story of redemption of his family name, isn't it? So, yeah, the quality of it is fake 4K, but what you got to remember about the real and fake 4Ks is when it's a fake 4K, the way that they treat the algorithms for on a disc are different to the algorithms that your Blu-ray and your TV treat. So, although an upscaled HD movie looks good in 4K, a specially treated HD movie, upscaled to 4K, will still look better. Because they treat it frame by frame rather than, and with different sort of algorithms than what you get built into your equipment.
Unless you've got eyes like Steve Austin and the $6 Billion Man, you ain't going to know the difference really that well, are you? I mean, your eyes are as good as they are.
It depends. It depends upon how close to the screen you are.
Yeah.
If you're not far from your screen and you've got a big screen, you're going to notice a difference. If you've got a small screen and you're 4 metres away from it, you're not going to notice any difference. But it's horses for courses. But there is a slight improvement over, studio done 4K upgrades to, the increase in resolution that your equipment does. Now, what I would say is, as a result of that, some people would probably not benefit from upgrading to the 4K. And I think it's very much...
I mean, I've still got the Blu-ray of this.
Yeah.
Sitting in my collection.
So I think it's one of those things of, you've got to consider, if you're thinking about buying this one, do you really want that very slight bump in quality to what your equipment can already do? For me, that was a no-brainer. Doesn't mean it is for everybody else.
No, if you're collecting, you're going to end up collecting all of them on 4K.
Yeah, that's my goal. So it was, and I'll be doing the same with Thor when that gets released.
You see, I just pulling away from this a bit. Well, actually, staying with Robert Downey Jr. Unfortunately, now with what he has been doing in these years, I'm actually looking forward to seeing him play Sherlock Holmes again, because I think that he did that character great. I mean, the second story wasn't as good as the first, but yeah, I don't know what it's in pre-production, so I don't really know too much more about it or who's in it.
Yeah.
So we'll see from there. But yeah, I mean, he's actually got he's doing the Voyage of Dr. Dolittle, and he's playing Dr. Dolittle. So who knows how that's going to work?
Well, I did watch a bit of another Robert Downey Jr. film this week, which was Due Date.
Oh, okay.
So it's effectively Planes, Trains and Automobiles, but a redo with Robert Downey Jr. and he's trying to get home for the birth of his child.
Yeah.
It wasn't bad. It just didn't really keep my attention that well. So I've only half watched it.
If you want to see him as a teenager, I recommend you should go to Weird Science and see how young he was then.
Oh, God, yeah. Yeah, things have really, but he just is Tony Stark. There is, everything he does in that role, it is just so what you expect of Iron Man, or, of the character. I think it shows how good an actor he is, because it's like the little things. And when you're actually listening to some of the stuff that used to happen on the set, because evidently he hid food all over and did a lot of improv lines and stuff like that as well. So, yeah, it's really interesting.
Because he was a bit of a bad boy back in the day as well.
Oh, he was, and he's been arrested and all sorts, but he's cleaned his life up.
Oh, he has. I mean, him and Kiefer Sutherland, they were a right pair, they were.
And evidently, the thing about where Tony Stark gets kidnapped, and when he comes back, the first thing he wants is an all-American burger. Well, that is sort of like a homage to himself, because he realises life had hit hot rock bottom or something when he was like having a burger, and it was sort of like something he got into it. So, he made it his own, definitely. And look at all the films that he's appeared in as well. It's he was a perfect launch for the MCU, absolutely. Yeah,
and it's just a shame. Unless we have flashbacks from something else, you can't see him being it anymore.
No, but all good things must come to an end.
They always say that.
They always say that. Sometimes we disagree, because now that we've got the de-aging stuff as well, we could have Tony Stark forever. All those algorithms only improve with time.
Yeah.
Unlike everybody else who grow old. But I really enjoyed going back to this movie. I'm looking forward to going back to the other ones, but I'm just sort of like savouring them a little bit. Because I've also got Excalibur, which is one that you'll probably be wanting to watch for your fetish for older movies as well.
Well, that was a fantasy movie of the 80s. That was, wasn't it? You remember that?
It was absolutely fantastic movie. Great interpretation of the tale of King Arthur. And I also have Gattaca to watch as well.
I don't remember that too well, I must admit. I do know of it. I'm sure I've seen it a couple of times at least. But
yeah, it's Ethan Hawke, Jude Law and Uma Thurman. So basically, Ethan Hawke, who plays Vincent, wants to be an astronaut going on this journey to Saturn, and unfortunately for him, the world revolves around genetics. And he was naturally conceived as opposed to being genetically enhanced, and they won't let him in. And Jude Law is a failed athlete who got run over and couldn't run anymore, and loans him his genetic material so that Vincent can then get onto the Gattaca program. And that's the story.
yeah.
So, but then there's a series of murders and stuff like that, and it's, gets very, Vincent's brother is the investigator.
Yeah, I think the only other film actually I've got coming, which I think is going to come this week, is the 4K of John Carpenter's Christine.
All right, yeah. Saw that was being released.
Yeah, so that's been out for quite a while. I've been sort of tempted to get a region-free copy of that. Because they was going at a bit of a high price, but yeah, that I'm so looking forward to that one as well. That should be cool.
Yeah. Anyway, I think that's about it for this week for the movies and TV. I have been watching Gotham.
Oh, okay.
I started watching that.
Actually, TV wise, I just finished watching Life on Mars.
Yeah.
And I started just sitting down having a bit of dinner earlier. I started Ashes to Ashes.
Oh, great show.
So
I love that first episode, where he comes in, where, armed people. I'm not going to say the word.
Well, actually, even the missus said, this is so wrong. It's what they're coming out with. But again, it was with the 70s now. It's just hilarious to go back and watch it. And if any, it's probably quite old now, Life on Mars, but it's a fantastic show. And
it is.
So there was 2 seasons of that and 3 seasons of Ashes to Ashes, which come to a teary end at the very end, and it gives you the background to why and what's going on with
both shows.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm looking forward to diving into watching this. Just every now and then I'll put an episode on. And I just loved watching that first episode today. It's brilliant.
Yeah, I've got both of Life on Mars on Blu-ray, but I don't think that they ever actually did Ashes to Ashes on Blu-ray, did they?
No, I don't think
it was DVD.
Yeah, I've got the DVD box set for Life on Mars, but they're also I've just got them off of Sky as well, so I've just downloaded them all off of there. And so what else? On Sky they've got the bulk. There's one missing. They've got the bulk of the Mission Impossible movies on UHD now.
Right.
So even though I had got them saved on my hard drive, I just deleted those and downloaded the UHD versions. Because I really would love the box set for them. But it's a bit pricey.
Yes, it's £100, isn't it?
I thought it was about 70, but I don't think the box set included Fallout. I think that was probably separate.
But don't you already have that on 4K?
No, I've got it on 4K on Sky,
right?
On their UHD version. Okay. So I've got the bulk. The only one I haven't got, I think it's Rogue Nation. The only one I haven't got on that's been on Sky. I looked for it, and you have to rent it or buy it. So, but yeah, no, I just love those movies, and there's 2 more to come, which might be the last. for Tom Cruise.
I thought there was 3 more.
Oh, well, no, it's 3 or 2, yeah.
I thought it was on with 1, but then there was another 2 in the pipeline.
Yeah, I can't actually remember it. But, yeah, 2 or 3, but they've got this on the go as well, so...
Fair enough.
And also, just saying on them, I was listening to a podcast, which I love to listen to because it's to do with Mission Impossible, and there's only 2 of them out there, but it's called Light the Fuse. Mm-hmm. And they had Mo Sharif from Mondo, you know, the guys that do the soundtracks and all the stuff in the States. And I've been tagging them a bit, and they are going to release all the movies in their soundtrack list. So where I've already got Mission Impossible 1 and the last one that's been made, which is Fallout, the next one they're going to release will be Mission Impossible 2, and they're going to bring out the slip boxes for them, so you can put them in next. They did the same for Halloween, and I did sort of not twist his arm a bit, but I was saying, come on, you're going to do this as well. But yeah, so they're going to bring all those movies out onto vinyl with the scores for them. So I look forward to that as well. Lots of good stuff.
Indeed. Right, okay, so let's move on to listener questions.
John, what's happening to us?
Okay, so as always, we'll have Mark's questions, and he had forgotten this week, but I prompted him. He'd been hosting a party or something or other, so, you know, something where real life had got in the way. I hope you had a good party, Mark, and thank you for getting your questions in. Anyway, first question is, which developer do you think is best at listening and acting on gamers' requests?
There's only one, and that's Bungie.
Now I'm going to argue differently.
You always do. Honestly, Bungie, of the community there in the background asking on what they want to do to change, and they go ahead and get on with it. So, especially with Destiny, and they did pretty well with Halo back in the day as well. So, yeah.
I would say, yeah, they do mostly, but they still insist on everybody having to do Crucible.
Well, you've got a beef for Crucible, so I
just don't want to play it.
That's your only problem.
I don't want to play it. I've messaged them. I've said, I don't want to play Crucible. Please do stuff that's not, you know, requiring it. And they still do it, so they don't listen to everybody.
Well, they don't listen to the one, do they? They listen to a load more.
Yeah, but in this day and age, you know, we're in a society where
they do change a few things, and there's the occasional request, but it's not a big deal. But it is to you, I know. So who are you going to say anyway?
I'm going to say 2.
Bethesda?
Oh God, that was a funny joke. No, not Bethesda. I'm going to say Hello Games. Because,
really?
Yeah, I am, because of what they've done with No Man's Sky. They've involved the community, they've listened to them.
But they lied to the community.
Initially
they were nasty. They weren't very good.
I think
they may have turned around because of, but they originally lied, and that caused so much grief at the time.
Yeah, I don't think that. To be fair, I think while technically, yes, what came out was a lie, I think that maybe Sean Murray had got a little bit carried away into, you know, and ended up doing a Peter Molyneux sort of approach with it, thinking this game's going to be all things to everybody. So I do think that they maybe made statements which didn't pan out, but I do think that they've listened to their community and tried to do everything that they can to make that better, and have listened to people about what would make the game better, and have incorporated that in there as well. The other company I'm going to say listens to people is Frontier Developments, because about the fact that they engaged people in terms of the beta for Elite Dangerous, and they listened to the feedback and they acted on that as well, and have continued to do that right throughout the length of the Elite Dangerous title, which has been going on for a few years now. So I would say that there's a few developers who actually do that.
Yeah, I mean they've been going they're in the similar sort of way to Bungie, to be honest. I think as you know, with what they do. Yeah,
but have you noticed it's always the sort of smaller indie developers, or well, Frontier's not that small, but it's the indie developers who listen. It's not the big boys.
Well, Bungie was small at one point when they did Halo, to be honest, and it's only because how they grew. But
yeah, I suppose that nowadays you wouldn't really call Bungie a small developer, but
they've broken from the class of a bigger developer that was telling them what to do.
Yeah, well, how would you describe Bungie now? Because indie doesn't really feel like a right description for them either.
Well, they've blossomed as well, the way probably the guys for Frontier have, because they've done quite a few different games.
Yeah, I think Frontier and Bungie are probably two quite similar developers in that sort of respect. They are indie, but they're not indie because they're too big. I don't know. Anyway, do you want to ask Mark's next question?
Yeah, so this is probably more Mark himself than us, but what's the most people you've cooked for?
Including myself, 7.
Me, I did a family quite a while ago, not as often these days, but I do like to cook. But I did cook for about 15, and I did a huge chicken tikka masala, which went down a treat. But I don't often get that chance these days, as much as probably some people might moan at me for that. I'm sure you get the same.
Yeah, I have to admit, I'm not really that into cooking,
but I do love it, and I've done a few. I've done a few bits and pieces that I've looked at and watched on my shows. I can give that a go, and I've come out and done it myself.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I do enjoy it. It's quite relaxing. I mean, I cook every year at Christmas, obviously, and do with that. But sometimes I like to challenge myself with something that may look easy to do, but you just got to get it right. And yeah, it's good fun. But yeah, Mark knows it more than us because he's a chef anyway. So
he is indeed. And I'll hopefully be getting to run into Mark at Insomnia as well.
Oh, is he going? Is he?
Not Insomnia, EGX.
EGX. Well, you have to say hi for me.
I will do. So, in that case then, let's have a look at Craig Cole's question. So, rank these in order of awesomeness. Blake 7, The Tripods, and Day of the Triffids.
Well, I think both of us are going to put Blake 7 at number 1.
Okay.
And The Tripods I was not so keen on, but I did enjoy Day of the Triffids, so I'll probably put The Tripods last, Day of the Triffids second, and Blake 7 first.
Yeah, see, for me, the books of The Tripods is what I sort of like read at school. So they would buy John Christopher, a series of novels. And The Tripods as well was one of those BBC shows that ran between September 84 and November 85 and only had 25 episodes.
Yeah, it wasn't a very long show, was it?
I don't think they completed the books. So it was sort of like, felt quite incomplete. So I wouldn't, for that reason, I would not say that it was awesome. The Day of the Triffids, I love Triffid movies or shows. So there was only 6 episodes of the original Day of the Triffids.
Yeah, back in 81, wasn't it?
No. I thought it was earlier than that. Well, sorry, yeah. Sorry.
It's 81.
Yeah, it was September to October 81.
That's right.
It was, yeah. There's 6 episodes. But there has been a movie since then.
Oh, God. Well, the one I love is the 1962 version.
Yes.
Which, again, goes back to my love for the B-movies of the day in that era, in the 50s and 60s.
Yeah, I was thinking about the original sort of like Date for the Triffids thing there, yeah.
But he was on about the TV show, I'm sure.
I'm sure he probably was, but I'm trying to remember what the movie was, the recent one. Oh, sorry, not movie, TV series. It was in...
What, really recent?
No, it's about 10 years old. It's 2009, it was, and it starred Dougray Scott, and it had Eddie Izzard in it as well.
Oh, yeah. Do you know what that was costing? Apparently it cost $15 million to make.
Yeah, that was quite good, actually. I quite enjoyed that.
I'm not sure if I actually... I think it was classed as a mini-series.
It was a mini-series. And that's available on Netflix at the moment, I think. if you wanted to watch that.
Yeah, but do you know what? I just love the original. I just, it's the same as Village of the Damned and all those. Yeah, I just adore them.
An Invasion of
movies.
the Body Snatchers.
Yeah, which I love. I've been trying to pick up a Blu-ray of that at the minute, and I have to get it probably in a different country, but then it'll probably have English in it. But I've got the remake on the Arrow label, but I've got the original on my hard drive on Skybox. So I've got it there, but it's one of my huge favourites. That movie, it's brilliant.
Yeah, but anyway, in terms of the order, I would say the Tripods, Day of the Triffids, and Blake 7 as well. What I would have found more difficult is if you said Blake 7, UFO, and Space 1999.
Well, they were probably I think because where Blake 7 was, what was that, 79, 80?
It was 79, 1st of January 79 to December 1981.
Yeah,
it was.
Where the others were a bit younger in the 70s anyway. So
yeah, 4 series, 52 episodes.
Yeah, did peter off a bit though at the end.
Well, when I went to the Scorpio as a ship rather than the Liberator.
Yeah, because you get that science fiction moment like I did with Star Trek. The Enterprise gets blown up.
Yeah.
But when I saw the Liberator get blown up that time, I was gutted, absolutely gutted about it.
Yeah. But I think where it also went a bit wrong is that the programme, Blake 7, but then Blake dies. But does he die?
Yeah, and the other guy take his place, didn't he?
Avon.
Yeah. Not Avon, actually. There was another guy, the guy with curly hair, that took Blake's role as such, as captain as such.
Yeah, but it wasn't Blake. It wasn't like a substitution.
No, but he took that. He wasn't replaced. He replaced him as a character.
Yeah.
Not the same character. He replaced him as a character, and he was the commander as such.
Yeah.
Even though Avon was class, so unfortunately he passed away not long ago, didn't he? So.
Yeah, it was Paul Darrow. It was about 3 or 4 weeks ago, was it? Something like that. Maybe a bit longer.
More. Yeah, I'm sure it was this year.
It was this year. It was in the last few months.
Yeah.
But I remember seeing him on what's that? Pointless.
Oh, really?
Quiz show.
Yeah.
And he was in a wheelchair as well. And you just people like him, you just don't think would ever end up like that. But just goes to prove you don't know where you're going to end up.
No, you don't at all.
Yeah. All right. Do you want to do Paul's?
Okay, yeah. So Paul says, if there's one actor or director you could bring back from the dead, who would it be and why?
One actor. Leonard Nimoy.
Yeah. I mean, it's now, about 3 years since he passed, believe it or not. I think it's about 3 years. How time flies. An actor that's passed away. Oh. Well, the thing is, if you bring them back, because they could be really ancient, couldn't they? If you brought someone back. So, who would I bring back? I can't think of anyone, really. I really can't. I can think of a director, but I'm trying to think of a legendary actor. I'll leave it with me. What director would you like to bring back?
I'm not sure. I know.
Well, shall I do my director? What do you think about it? I'd love to bring back Alfred Hitchcock. I'd love to ask him what he thinks of today's movies and how they are compared to what he made. Yeah. Because he's such an iconic director, and the stuff that he brought to us over the years, I mean, he was fantastic. It really was. So clever in the direction of how he put movies together, as well as the stories he told. Because there's so many you could talk about, from Psycho to Vertigo and so on and so forth. Have you got a director then in your head?
Yeah, for 2 reasons.
Go on then.
And it's Michael Winner.
Oh, right, the guy that did Death Wish, yeah?
Yeah, so that he could redo Death Wish, but also so that he could have those annoying adverts where he used to say, calm down, dear, it's only a commercial because I drove my wife nuts.
Yeah, I'm sure there's always a little pun there thrown in from somewhere. Sure. I think I think him putting Death Wish together was a brave move at the time.
And he just doesn't seem like the guy to do it.
Well, he was Jewish, wasn't he? Mm. And he knew where to stand with things.
I'm not really sure the fact that he's Jewish is that.
No, that's not as me saying about. But I'm saying he was very focused on how he did things, and it was just a passing way of saying that. Yeah, I just remember him because just the way he talked. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but he always seems like quite a gentlemanly kind of person.
Yeah,
and then to come out with Death Wish, it seemed odd.
Oh, I do love the original movie. It's just fantastic.
And he did Death Wish 2 as well. Don't forget.
Yeah, and there was a few more after that, but they're not. It's just I just thought of some. I thought of an actor.
Go on in.
John Belushi.
Yeah.
I think that guy left us way too early, and we could have seen some more great comedy moments from him. Even maybe with John, even with his partner for the Blues Brothers.
I'll tell you who else as well. John Candy.
Yeah. Oh, bless him. Yeah. He left us a bit too early as well, didn't he?
Very much too early.
Yeah, died halfway through making the last film he was making at the time, didn't he?
Yeah, and he did CGI to fill in the rest, didn't he?
I can't remember, but I think they had enough footage.
Was it Cool Runnings?
No, it was the one where he played it was a Western.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember there was a gay? I remember there was some sort of gay character in it as well. It was really funny.
I don't remember.
Yeah, and he was great. But,
I mean, one of my favourite comedies of all time is Planes, Trains and Automobiles.
Yeah, well, Steve Martin. It's funny because he had an illustrious career, and obviously I think for him it kicked off with The Jerk, which was a class for movie in itself. And I remember him was it Roxanne?
Yeah.
Which was very good. And obviously one of our favourites, which he had a small part as a dentist in Little Shop of Horrors.
Also The Man with Two Brains as well.
Yeah, that song, I'm not going to put it in my head right now. Otherwise I won't get it out.
What, that I'm a dentist?
No, the one that he sings in Man with Two Brains.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah.
But, I mean, after that, it sort of, like, started to dip a bit, didn't it, for him? I mean, he was in Bowfinger with Eddie Murphy. That wasn't very good. The Pink Panther 1 and 2.
Well, you see, Peter Sellers, if we're going to bring him back from the dead... Oh,
Peter Sellers. There's no one like him.
And his last movie that he did, which was Being There, is such an amazing movie. It's so dry, playing this butler that has to leave the house because his master's died, and he's never been in the real world, but all he knows is from what he watches on TV. And he's such a sincere character as well. It's just, if you've never seen Being There, just check it out. It's wicked, absolutely brilliant movie.
I'll tell you another good actor as well, although not so much on the big screen, Leonard Rossiter.
We had a few comedy greats from the 70s. Obviously him with Rising Damp.
Rising Damp was classic.
Which was him, and he had those hilarious commercials with Joan Collins doing the Campari adverts.
He did, but he also had The Fall and Rise of Reginald Perrin.
Yes, that was a BBC show, yeah. Remember that one?
Yeah. All greats, all gone.
Yeah, how about, I can think of one more if you want. Well, actually, I think I can think of both. I think they've both passed now, haven't they? Gene Wilder and Richard Pryor?
Yeah, they're both passed.
Yeah, how about bringing those two back together as a double act?
Yeah.
They've done some good individual stuff, like Car Wash for Richard Pryor, and they obviously did the double act movies that they put together. Just every one of them was wicked. Everyone was a laugh. All good.
And also for her editing skills, writing skills, and so that she could appear on the last one, Carrie Fisher.
Yeah.
I think Hollywood lost a lot when they lost her, because she used to, she was like the movie version of the Bee Gees.
And her mum as well, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because they both passed very close together.
They did. But when you actually find out about the stuff that she was involved with movie-wise, and like the Bee Gees have wrote half of the pop songs that have been popular over the decades.
Yeah.
And she'd edited or influenced in some way, loads of the, the most popular movies going up until the time she died.
Yeah, and her mum as well, who one of my favourite musicals of all time that she was in, and which is Singing in the Rain.
Mm.
And she was absolutely gorgeous, amazing woman. But yeah.
Anyway, let's move on, because that's a bit melancholy. So do you want to do Nikki?
Okay, so what we got here. So what do you think about games patching in microtransactions after the launch, like Crash Team Racing? What do you think the plans are for publishers to self-regulate these loot box games with work? Or do you think that government will step in? So I heard a little bit about Crash Team Racing, but I did fancy playing that game.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know where they are involved in this, but I heard it caused a bit of a stir.
Yeah. And
obviously before this we had games, I suppose like Forza and some of the Call of Duty games and that, where they are being regulated as gambling from certain countries, aren't they? And they are sort of putting their foot down.
Mm.
I thought we've come to a point now that we had this under control.
I thought we were getting there, but I don't think that we're still quite there yet. Personally, I think it would be a good idea for the government to introduce some form of regulation about it. I think maybe it should be regulated, in the same way as gambling should be, because it is a form of gambling. That's what the argument is, isn't it? As for games, putting them in afterwards, I really think that that's not on.
Mm.
I just, if it's not there at launch, that sort of stuff, it shouldn't be there, or at least it should indicate if it is going to be there in the future.
Well, I think in the likes of Destiny with microtransactions, they've now got it right.
Mm.
They are cosmetic, they are not game breaking, and if you want some of these bits and pieces, it's up to you whether you decide to put your money in there or not.
Yeah. And
where now, I think it's a good idea with people like Bungie, because you're actually helping the company bring that other content to us in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
So in that point, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jason Toon.
Last one, is it?
Yes, it is indeed. So Jason's asked, Desert Island time, if you were stranded on an island and somehow had the power, but sadly no internet, what 3 games would you take to keep you sane?
That blows Destiny out the water, doesn't it?
It does. So, what else would you play that is not Destiny, Steve?
Fallout 3?
Yeah.
Possibly Fallout 4, actually.
Yeah. Well, before that, 76.
Fallout. Well, no, that's an online game, isn't it?
Exactly. So it won't be that one.
No. So gladly, that's fine. but I think we put Fallout in the box for it. Have you got one to start with?
The Hitman 2, the latest one.
Okay, another game, not internet based, because a big bulk of them are these days, so that doesn't help. I know. Yes. Can we have like a series of games and just call it that? Can we? Or has it got to be a game?
Oh, let's just go for a series of games if you can't think.
Well, no, but as a box set of games, I will put BioShock in there.
Yeah.
I mean, they're fantastic one-player games. Every one of them's done great, and they're still worth playing today.
Okay.
What about you?
I would say the Lego games as a box set.
Well, do you know what? A few of those are on sale at the moment, if you haven't got some of them.
I've got all of them.
What, every one?
Yeah.
Because there are a couple, some that I haven't played, certainly. I've played some of them, but there's like some like the Harry Potter ones and Jurassic Park now that are coming a bit cheaper in price.
Got them.
Do you play them much? I say you don't talk about them, so obviously it's something you just do every now and then.
It's just every now and again, but they're good pick up and play games, and plus the fact there's hundreds of hours of content in each one. So if I'm going to be there for a while.
Yeah, even if you just chose the Indiana Jones trilogy, for example, or even a Star Wars one, there's plenty of content in there.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so my third choice, what would it be? Have you got a third one?
I'm going to say the Assassin's Creed games.
That's a good choice. Yeah, good call, actually. I know. Just come into my head. Fable.
Yeah, that's a good choice.
Again, what you can do is you got both sides of the coin to play on, especially with the original Fable, with the good or evil. Mm-hmm. A lot of time there. You can go back and revisit those games. So yeah, that's my 3.
Yeah. Okay, so there we are. You've got your ones from us.
Do you want to say what his was? Because
he said he'd play Civ 6, Sims 4, and SimCity. So he's obviously a big strategy fan.
Yeah. And those sort of games, again, they can keep you
every game's
busy
different.
for hours.
Every game's different with them.
Yeah.
So that's it. We're at the end of the show. Another show down. So, Steve, do you want to do your outro?
Yeah, so Twitter @Steve007, PSN ID, the real Steve07. Now I'm getting on to play on the PlayStation a bit. Xbox @Steve007, Steve007. There's a YouTube channel under the same name if you want to look at movie soundtracks, which I've need to put a few more on there, but there's at least 30 albums on there for movies. Yeah, that's about it really, but always hit me up on Twitter. I'm always good for a chat.
Okay. And for me, everything's HERJ UK. You'll be able to find me on YouTube, Twitter, PSN, Xbox Live, Steam, GOG, God knows what else, anything Epic Game Launcher, you name it, I'm on there as that. Don't forget, there's also our Facebook group. Just search for Pop Culture Gamers on Facebook. If you want to email the show, then it is the show's one, so it's like a joint one, so it's podcast@popculturegamers.co.uk. Website is popculturegamers.podbean.com. Don't forget you can listen to the show on Podbean, iTunes, Spotify, your Amazon Echo device using our very own skill for Alexa. If you want to support the podcast, you can do so on our Patreon page, or you can just subscribe to my channel on Twitch, HERJ UK, and use your free Amazon Prime subs for the month to support the channel for a month. Hopefully by the end of the year, I'll have enough money stored up that I'll actually A, be able to get a payout, and B, pay for next year's hosting. So that's about it, really. Otherwise, you can also support the show in a non-monetary sense by just posting us out there and sharing links to the show. So that's it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. We just want to grow the show. So that's it. So in that case then, it's a good night from me.
And a good night from him.
Good night.
Good night.
You are about to witness history in the making.